Developer student clubs train thousands of student developers globally and work with their communities to solve real-life problems. Google selects amazing students from across the globe once a year to be a developer student club lead and start a club on their campus. These leads believe knowledge is power and that technology can do extraordinary things for the world. They take on the responsibility to help students learn and empower these students to solve real problems around them. Join us in building a global community for students.
Hi guys, hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So welcome to our talk session, which is basically being a DSC lead and a developer. So let's start off basically by introducing to those speakers for part of the session. Starting off, basically, let me just introduce myself first. So I'm actually the DSC lead of Universiti Teknologi PETRONAS. I am right now basically I'm actually a master's student, just to let you know. I'm a tech enthusiast, love to read books. I am a freelancer developer. And last thing about me is that I'm a duck. I'm a duck that remains calm on the surface, but paddles like crazy underneath. That's why I'm so calm every time. Just saying. All right. So now we're going to the next speaker, Mozes. All right. So Mozes, apparently he is the DSC lead of KDU Penang. He's a freelancer developer, and he's also passionate for being the odd one out. Am I right, Mozes? You are definitely being passionate for being the odd one out, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. So the next speaker we're going to introduce is Rasheed. Rasheed is the DSC lead of Monash University, Malaysia. He is the jack of all trades, master of none. And the best part about him, except for fandoms, he's the master of all fandoms. Am I right, Rasheed? All right, cool. Lastly, but not least, we have Kit. So Kit is the DSC lead of Universiti Utara, Malaysia. He's an IoT enthusiast. And you know what's the best part about him? He actually likes potato chips. And he's a meme expert too. Interesting. All right, so let's just move on from this meme expert thingy. All right, so let's talk about the Developer Student Club. Developer Student Club is basically a community based in every campus where we carry out Google Developer Technology by basically giving us a lecture to students or by hosting a number of projects or events in our campus. So in other words, yes, we will be utilizing Google technologies within the community. And the best part about that is that a DSC lead is the one basically where he has to plan what are the goals and projects that he wants to host inside in the community itself. The DSC lead is also the one that is passionate in all these technologies that they would like to host it or want to make it happen in the campus itself. And also the best part is that this DSC lead thing is like a 1 year term for anyone who applies for it. And if Google basically accepts them, they will basically be a DSC lead for the entire year. So moving forward to how do you apply it? Well, first things first, let's talk about the criteria. Just to give you a heads up, by the way, these criteria are there, but however, you can actually go to the website, the Developer Student Club website, where you can actually find more information about the criteria of being a Developer Student Club lead. What do you need? Okay, when it comes to DSC lead application form, as you can see down there, there's actually a DSC lead logo link where you can actually apply because that's if you want to be a DSC lead and if you're really interested in being a DSC lead. And just to let you know also in the application form itself, which you guys can actually look at the link, you have to prepare a 1 minute pitching video of basically why Google, or should I say the DSC people should choose you. Second thing is that you have to list out some of your campus highlights, like for example, your activities and the stuff you have done. And lastly, you have to share your technical projects, with your blog, post stories, or maybe your quick labs. You want to share your profile about quick labs, GitHub. Yes, you can do that too. All right. Let's moving forward. And now, and after basically, once you submit it, before you submit it, you better ensure that your form is actually checked. There's no blanks, and ensure that basically everything's according to what they have asked for, and submit. And just to give you another heads up is that do not be intimidated when you want to apply or to be a DSC lead. Trust me, there are a lot of people who actually went through the same process, and we can discuss about this in a while with the speakers. And it's good to just apply for it, even though you may not have the best technical skills, even though you may not have the best experiences, but who knows, you may be chosen. And lastly, just to give another heads up for those to others, that just to let you know that some of you guys, your forms, your DSC application was actually rejected due to the fact that you have some invalid, or should I say left blanks or left questions that you did not fill up in the form. And to those who basically wanted to know whether they actually can apply again, or whether they want to apply to be a DSC lead, yes, you can. Because just to give another heads up, that the deadline for the DSC lead application is actually extended. However, DSC organizers will actually inform about this later on. Now, let's just talk about basically the DSC lead application process. Let's start off with Kit. Kit, do you want to share basically how was the DSC lead application process was when you actually applied for it?
Yeah, so I guess when I found out about what DSC is, I was actually just on Facebook, scrolling at memes, and then I found the sponsored post of it. So I went to the website, and then I found out that it actually really aligns with it was during my 3rd year of my university, so it actually really aligns with how I want to uplift my technical skills. So I kind of got into it, look at how I want to improve myself, and see that actually DSC provides you with a lot of content to improve yourself, Google technologies, cloud technologies, and so on. So I applied, and then the application process is actually pretty easy. You just have to upload a video for yourself to introduce, and then the funny thing is you all know there's an interview section, right?
Yeah.
So there's someone who will video you in, and then we'll talk to him. So when I was talking to the guy during the video interview, the guy was I'm not impressed. Like I was like telling him I'm doing like hackathons and stuff, like winning prize monies, and then he was like, I'm not impressed. So I was like, okay, you know what? I botched the interview. But then like a few months moving forward, I was like, hey, you got an email? I was like, lol, I think that guy's like trolling me or something.
All right, cool. What about you, Moses? How was your process of basically applying for the DSC Lead application?
It was actually the same as kid. I was scrolling Facebook, looking at memes, sharing memes, and then I saw the sponsored post, and then I was like, okay, I got linked to the Developer Student Club's website, and then I started reading about it. It really aligned with what I believed in. Trying to help the society with the skills we have, and then trying to help new developers and stuff. Yeah. So the application process was the Google Forms. So I filled out all the details, made a cringy video about myself and why I should, be a DSC lead, and then, I submitted it, and I also inspired another two of my friends to actually fill up as well, so that the chances will increase for our university to get selected. So after that, we got shortlisted, and then I got into the interview, and then the guy was asking a few questions, and I was truthful. So there were some things that I could say that I wasn't strong at, and I was truthful to the person. And at the end also, I thought I wouldn't get it, because my interview ended in 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes. I was like, yo, this is the end, man. After that, a few months later, same as Kid, got the email. We got the opportunity to become the lead.
Nice. All right, cool. Lastly, Rasheed, how was your process? How did you feel like applying? Yeah.
Somewhat similar, but I actually didn't apply, right? So I saw this whole DSC thing, and I was like, okay, this is something to do with Google. I was a first year then. I was like, I'm way too underqualified for this. Like, yeah, there's no chance I'm getting into this. I better just make sure I don't fail my semester. And then I passed the deadline, and then like we announced today, there was an extension, right? And my first thing was, extension means a lot of people didn't apply, which probably means I have a good chance of getting in. I was just like, yeah, let's apply. So yeah, I did the cringy video, I made a script, and I did that. That was not nice, but I did it. And then I went along and I forgot about it, right? So because I still had this whole, okay, I'm probably not going to get this, because it's this whole thing. They have this international program. I'm just me, right? And then months later, I was back at home, and then suddenly you get all these emails saying you've got an interview, and then after the interview, you're in, and then all this happened.
Awesome, cool. Let's just talk about more like the journey of being a DSC lead, as we all know that our term is going to be ending soon. So let's just talk about the experiences that we have gained so far, and let's talk about basically what he has built, built us, in terms of characteristics and personality. Because as you know, a DSC lead is basically being a lead, and talking about being a lead itself means basically carry a lot of responsibilities, right? So when you carry a lot of responsibility, it means you have to ensure that everything goes according to your plans, according to how things are. So as you can see, basically these are all the photos you can see that we had during our DSC times. They're not a lot of photos, but they're just enough to actually showcase, about what our experiences were. So let's start off with basically Moses. What was your experience like? Because our term is ending. So let's give the audience about what do you think your experiences of being a DSC lead so far.
I mean, this is really the opportunity of a lifetime. I mean, for Google to give us a platform to help us start a club and stuff, giving us free tools and stuff. Yeah, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. And for me, as a lead, I've gone through a lot of hardships. Trying to get people to join the club, get people to know about the club, to even get core members. I have to inspire them, try to pass the message to them about what DSC really is about, and also about building the core team. It was quite a challenging thing, because being a lead, you have to be a leader, and to be a leader, we must be responsible for carrying Google's brand, and also carrying the club.
Being a lead, you have to be a leader. Okay. So you say basically being a lead. I mean, you're basically a leader and all that. So if I were to ask you a question of when you were being a leader, right? What were the challenges and obstacles that you have faced when basically carrying out this entire DSC lead responsibility? And also, basically, do you have any problems with the administration for it?
Talking about that, yes, I actually encountered a lot of hardships and stuff. Like going into DSC, I formed a core team of around 7 people. And then halfway through, I had 2 committees actually dropped out, sad, because they had commitment issues because, they valued their studies more. And to me, at the time, I was like a very low point, our team and all, we were like very disappointed and stuff. But we still carried on. And now currently we have also 7 core team, and then also another 7 normal community members. And also for the administration process, I think it was quite challenging in the beginning because we had to follow a lot of procedures by the university and how DSC is going to fit into our university and stuff. So there were some challenges, but at the end we actually overcome it. And our club now is official on KDU, so we are official club.
All right, cool. And if I'm about let's just ask Kit. Kit, in your process when basically you're carrying responsibilities of DSC Lead, pretty much sure there are a lot of cool stuff that happened even during your term, right? So one thing I'd like to ask you is that how did you collaborate with external parties for your events?
Yeah, so like I'm actually very thankful to my core team. Like without them, I don't think I could have accomplished what DSC have done for the past 1 year. So I'm thankful to my program team that they actually have a lot of connections, and also my lecturer as well. So a lot of those external parties, like the speakers that we brought in, and also like the sponsorships as well. So it's all due to my team, and then of them doing the hard work. So it's all hard work of my team. So I guess one of the very fundamental things of being a DSC lead as well is finding really good core members to work with. That would be a really important part of your journey.
Right. Well, throughout your journey of basically being a DSC lead, you just mentioned that you basically had fun. You had a lot of sponsors because of your team. Your amazing team did a good job. So do you mind sharing your experience from one of the best events that you actually showcased in your showcased in your campus?
Yeah. So I think the most memorable one was actually our info session, that very first event that we did for DSC. So we were very afraid of what's the turnout to be? Is it gonna be 10 people? Is it gonna be no show at all? But we were very thankful. It was actually at least 200 people showed up to the event, because they're all really buzzed, and this is one of the first big brand like Google to come into our campus. So they were all really excited to see what we can provide to the community, what we could collaborate with them as well. So that's actually one of the most memorable ones.
Nice, cool. All right, let's talk about Rasheed. How did he enjoy his term as a DSC lead, especially when you were the DSC lead, you take a lot of responsibilities. So do you mind sharing about your responsibilities as being DSC lead and how amazing it was during your term? Especially, do you mind showcasing the projects and events that you actually showcased during your campus?
Yeah. So while everyone's talking, all of us obviously had challenges to face. All of us, pretty much all of us had to start the club up brand new in all of our universities, right? And some of the things that I kind of had was my semester didn't really fit in exactly with the way DSC was set up. So I wasn't initially allowed to run events and start the club up, right? But we had this really good team. We had this really supportive faculty members, and the administration were really, really supportive. Mentioning the name Google may have helped with that, but so everyone was really supportive. And the more we explained that, okay, we're doing this to help students, we're doing this to make students learn more, for them to develop their careers, for them to be able to apply their knowledge in real world scenarios, the more interest and the more support we got, right? So from there, we actually weren't ever able to have a proper full info session with our club, right? Because last semester we had this whole, we were in the middle of the semester when we started, and our university doesn't allow that. You're supposed to have your AGM at the beginning. And when we were going to have our AGM info session this year, the whole MCO and lockdown thing happened, right? But besides that, that aside, we actually had way more participation and engagement in all of the projects we've had.
Nice.
So we had about 2 last year. We've had about 3 to 4 this year.
Okay.
And most of it's been online, right? Because we had this long summer break. We had events during the MCO, right?
Yeah.
And we had like no hitch, right? The fact that we couldn't meet up, the fact that we had all these obstacles meant nothing, right? Because there were students who really wanted to learn, and we had a lot of really, really good support, a really, really good team, right? And the events went off really, really well, right?
Yeah. So okay, let's just pass the thing to Kit. Kit, do you mind basically sharing all the recaps of the amazing events that you actually showcased in your campus, inclusive of basically DSC helping you out, sharing with all the materials and stuff that basically allow us to share the Google technologies with our community?
Yeah, so like I guess us like being university students, like especially for me, like most of the time, like for that 4 years of me studying, like it's just me consuming the information from the lecturers, from the internet, right? So we don't really have a chance to like give back or like share what we have learned or what we know. So like DSC as a platform like allow us to like learn how to like share information to people, to teach them how to use technologies. And like it's really challenging at first. Like you get like scared, like am I doing this right? Am I even giving the right information? Like, but slowly and surely, like you feel like people are giving good feedback about what you're doing, and then like they're coming on more as an active member to all your like workshops and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, for example, like the quick labs that we've been doing, I guess those are one of the really active ones that DSA UM have done. Where during the month in November, what is it called again? What is it?
Which you're referring to?
The event that like the whole month that we have to do
Cloud Study Jam?
Yeah, Cloud Study Jam. Yes, Cloud Study Jam. So like for that month of
Right.
Cloud Study Jam, like we did like as much as we could, and then like people were like really engaging to it. So yeah, it was really fun. And then after that, we actually wanted to take part in Global Solution Challenge, but because of like the coronavirus and the MCO, so like we really couldn't like participate, as it was more of a hardware-based project.
Correct. Awesome, cool. Talking about basically when you're talking about the Cloud Study Jam that we guys had like last year. I mean, for November, if I'm mistaken. Yeah, let's talk about basically the GCP bullet that we have done recently. Have you guys managed to do it?
Yeah.
The GCP bullet. Remember the one that basically the recent event that we had where basically everyone had to finish like around 10 to 15 quests in the quick labs. You guys do it?
Yeah, I actually did like just for the t-shirt, like the minimum amount
Right.
needed.
Okay. Cool.
And I did it like last minute too.
Yep, same.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let me just recap all my events actually that happened in my campus. Well, throughout my entire DSC term, I will say that it was I would say it was a blessing to actually have to be a DSC lead, being chosen by the DSC organizers as a DSC lead. And it was something where I won't regret it, because it's a one of a lifetime opportunity, to be a DSC lead. And hosting the events, basically teaming up with different teams, people, especially in terms of the Global Solution Challenge, which I want to ask you guys later about that. And all of this basically, like all the events that we had, because I remember basically we had like a lot of like Flutter workshops, Angular. We did also basically have an PETRONAS session about what is DSC all about, and hoping and praying that the next term we'll basically carry forward, we have more people that will be joining it. So that's basically one of the lifetime experience that I will never forget. And definitely, you guys know that we should thanks to Shad, for giving us a lot of advices and suggestions. So thanks a lot, Shad, all the way. So that's that. Okay, let's talk about the Global Solution Challenge that happened recently. Did you guys participate in that? Do you guys want to talk more about it? Like Rasheed?
Okay, so my Global Solution Challenge didn't go off perfectly, right? But we got a lot of stuff done. So what happened was it was announced in January, and we sort of planned. We realized the majority of the challenge was happening while most of our university was on summer break, right? So we decided we were going to do this whole online awareness thing, right? So we broke down each step in the challenge, each step recommended by Arman in the website, right? We broke it down per week. So we had designing in 1 week, designing your solution 1 week, identifying problems another week, stuff like that, right? And we kind of try to make everyone focus on each thing while they were at home on their own, right? We encourage people if they can to form teams, but we really couldn't sort it out to actually build our own teams. And okay, we planned so that as soon as the end of February came and everyone came to uni, we were going to have the solution design day where we form teams, we identify problems. We lined up some companies, some guys in need, right? We had a few volunteer organizations, some NGOs who were going to come in and help us like identify their problems, right? So we could solve it. Unfortunately, the whole MCO thing shut down the volunteer organizations coming in, but we still had a solution design day on a smaller scale. Like you can actually see the picture there, like the one with the red couch at the bottom. It's like we couldn't really organize big groups because it was illegal, but we got groups together, and we also kept getting updates from people who were like at home, who couldn't come to the country, or who couldn't come to university, who they were talking about, okay, they were meeting up with their friends or they were doing things individually, and they were asking us for help. They were getting feedback from us. They were asking us for the resources that were available on the platform, right? And yeah, and then what we did was, once we reached a certain point and then the deadline got extended, we just basically shared as many resources as we can. We did have a few unfortunate people like dropping out from the challenge because of the whole situation, making it difficult. But we ended up having more submissions than we expected, right? Given the situation. Yeah. So overall, a success, like not the best possible scenario, but definitely a success.
Definitely, yeah, no, that's true. What about you, Moses? How about the Global Solution Challenge? How did you participate?
You know, when it was announced, you know, we were also hyped out. You know, I got a group of people, you know, came together, started brainstorming. You know, we were like looking at like current situations that people face, some hardships in the society that maybe the technologies that we learn in Google can help solve the issues. So we got a few groups formed, and then we tried to create the solutions and stuff. And then, well, coronavirus happened, and you know, a lot of the teams started, you know, getting nervous and started being demotivated and stuff because the change of the environment, you know, study online and stuff. They were trying to fit in, you know, and also like they're not so used to working online and stuff, working on collaborations on projects. So I had to keep them motivated. And then at the end, we got a few teams to actually submit. So yeah, I think at the end, I think we did what we could. Yeah.
Nice, cool. What about you, Kit?
Yeah, so it's the same for me. So basically, like a group of us came back, like grouped together, and then it was actually during last year that we came, and then we had the idea of doing the Global Solution Challenge. So we are doing like an IoT hardware-based like challenge. So the hardware is actually based in a school. It's like a big hydroponic plantation. But like, you know, like when it came to like in the middle of the February, March, the coronavirus happened, and then we were not all at campus at all. So we couldn't visit the school. We can't go out of our dorms. We all had to go back to our hometown. So yeah, it's a bust.
All right, cool. In terms of yeah, go ahead, Rasheed, go ahead.
Yeah, so I actually have one more, I guess. I kind of forgot to mention it. I had to because it was a really cool thing that happened, and also it involved us collaborating, right? So one of the things that we were informed of and encouraged to do when we started this whole thing was for the DSC leads in all the universities in Malaysia across the country for us to collaborate and try to have joint events and stuff. And so close to the solution design day, because I couldn't have physical events because we weren't allowed to have physical events in our university. Amrita is the DSC lead for DSC UM. I think she has a live stream tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
so
it's something tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, so she told me that, okay, she was having a solution design day at her campus. And then, so basically we informed our members, we got whoever wanted to sign up, and all of us went to UM, and we basically had like a joint solution design day. right? And it was basically the most productive session I could have ever imagined, right? Every team, like we mixed up some teams, we brainstormed some ideas then and there, right? In a 2 hour to 3 hour session, we came up with some really, really amazing ideas.
Right.
So I don't know if, because the majority of the guys participating were from Amrita's University, I don't know if these guys actually built the solutions. Amrita can probably let us know tomorrow. But some of these ideas all of these ideas were really, really good, man. Like they'd help people, they help the community. And like, that's actually what all of this is about. Yeah. It's like, we want these guys to think about the problems they have and actually try to build solutions, right? Which is perfectly exactly what happened in this whole solution challenge.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, just talking about Global Solution Challenge, I'd like to basically give my experience on that. For Global Solution Challenge, it was also very last minute. You know, I remember basically I had a team with Alex Chai and Eliza Gunn. Those were my teammates for our Global Solution Challenge, and everything was very last minute. We had a lot of basically problems and stuff, but eventually we pulled it off. Everything was working fine, and praying that everything will be, everything works well. And one thing I liked about the Global Solution Challenge is that it really allowed us to brainstorm ideas about solutions, about problems that we can actually tackle with solutions in our community. So that was something basically that was a great thing by Google to actually give that to us. So yeah, that's just mainly about it. Right, cool. Any advices do you guys want to give to like the audience out there about basically being a DSC lead, or basically applying for DSC before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and give a piece of advice. Is that I think a lot of people think that to be a DSC lead, you need to be like a very good developer. That's actually a very bad misconception. Like you don't need to be a developer to like give information about technology, right? So yeah, so basically, I think people need to debunk the misconception that you need to be a developer to be a DSC lead. You don't. You just need to be someone who is excited to share information, to teach people, to help the community, and yeah.
Awesome, cool.
So,
what about you, Moses or Rasheed?
Yeah. Okay, Moses, go ahead.
Yeah.
If you have.
Rasheed, you go ahead first.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, I guess my initial story was basically on this as well, but my entire thing is don't worry about not being good enough or being like not having enough knowledge to be a DSC lead, right? Because there's no actual bar for it besides being really enthusiastic and being able, once you get it, because you get all these resources once you start, having like the enthusiasm and the need to actually go and facilitate events for the people, right? So as long as you're really want to help the people and you're passionate about it, you're fine, right? You could have no knowledge besides that. It works.
Awesome, cool.
Moses?
Yeah, man. I mean, Rasheed is right, man. I mean, like, if you have the passion, you can really should really apply, because the tools that Google actually supplies us with, quick labs and stuff like that, really helped us, because we actually use it to teach other students. It's a very good guide, very clean, very straightforward. Yeah, so you don't really have to worry about the tools. Sorry, you don't have to worry about the tools, right? Because Google will provide us with all the tools that we need to jumpstart the clubs and stuff. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, and to include with like
and we get support from the PDG and all that.
All right, cool. Kid, you want to say something?
Yeah, like just to include, like you also get like free GCP credits if you want, like to help with your projects, and also like most of like Google technologies are like actually free to use. So yeah, that's one thing really good about like being like affiliated with Google, I say.
Yeah, that's one of the blessings things that I would say that we actually have, being a DSC lead and having the community of members joining part of the DSC community, because not just about joining and then learning about tech stuff, but they get a lot of free credits for quick labs and a lot of knowledge from Google itself on how to use, so for example, like machine learning, AI, and a lot of those kind of things, which is actually it's actually quite good and quite nice of them to actually give us this kind of kickstart for our community. All right, cool. It's good to know. Let's just move on to basically being a developer, right? So Mose, you mentioned basically that you have been a developer, you have been a freelancer, all right? So if I may ask you, the if I may ask you, in terms of basically being a developer and at the same time basically being a DSC lead, how did you basically able to like with the developer skills that you have, how do you able to actually organize events that are basically project based? And basically what are the key things that you actually took from being a developer and applied it also while being a DSC lead?
Right. So actually, before I joined as a DSC lead, I was already using Flutter and Firebase, which are two very popular products from Google. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I had the knowledge, so I used that existing knowledge to share with the students, right? Because I have real world experience with those technologies like Firebase, the best practices using Firebase, and also like how Flutter works. Like I had these experiences before I joined DSC lead, and then when I joined, I had a platform to actually share this with the students. Yep.
Awesome. Cool. And you mentioned basically you were very familiar with Flutter, right?
Yeah,
So-
Flutter, back in the day, when Flutter was released as beta at the time, many people were trashing it, say there are many bugs and stuff. I think at that time there were like 6,000 bugs open on GitHub for Flutter. And,
Right.
Many people were doubting it. And I myself, I was also doubting, right? But then I was like, you know what? There's Google's brand name on it. I started using it and stuff. I
Right.
actually did encounter bugs with their plugins and also Flutter stuff. I actually opened issues on their GitHub as well. Yeah, they
Right.
actually resolved the issues quite fast and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Let's make into this group discussion. Basically bridging the gap between how basically students they actually want to be a developer, but most of the times it's just theory based. Like just plain theory. So when it comes to just theory, there's sometimes people do not know how to apply practically. So what do you think basically should be done, especially in our universities? We do know that basically what's it called, the DSC community actually helped a lot of students to learn more about technologies and more know about technologies and know more also about how to basically apply practical. So if I were to ask you is that what would you suggest that basically, or what would you basically want to implement in your community where basically students who are basically very theory based, but they would like to basically have a hands-on practical and be as good as how they are in theory.
Right. So actually, like the global solution challenge and stuff. Yeah. Those were like really projects where we're trying to target to help the real society where they're actually real users. So the global solution challenge was actually a very good platform for the students to bridge what they learn from their university and also apply into real society. And on top of that, like Google's technologies and stuff actually really help speed track some of the development. Like Firebase, you don't have to you don't have to spin up a server and make a database. You can just use Firebase and you can get going. So you can focus on the product itself and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. All right. What about Kid and Rasheed? What's your perspective on this?
Yeah. So I guess like, you want to go first, Rasheed? Sorry.
You go ahead, nice.
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
So I guess like what I want to share is that like a lot of like people being in uni, like you don't really do a lot of project-based stuff until you hit like FYP.
Right.
And then, until then, like FYP can also be a blur. Like what do you do? Like how do you apply things? And like so like and then when you do it, you don't actually really know like if you're doing it right or not. Like are you doing the best practices? Are you really like securing your database? Like we don't know. We have like nobody to really teach us, right?
Right.
So I guess one of the better ways is that like to have platforms like DSC where you can like share with people and like talk around, like ask around, where we can all like share our knowledge on like how do we do a certain technologies, like how do we implement this. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. What about you, Rasheed?
Yeah, so like my example here would be okay, I had an internship this last December, right? And while at that internship, I haven't done my FYP yet, and I hadn't done a prior internship. So at the internship, when the guy goes, "Okay, what projects do you have?" I show him like, "Okay, the work I've done in uni, and obviously there's project and assignments there, but there's nothing real world, right? There's nothing applied in a real world scenario there." And the guy, and the only thing that like while the concepts and all of that stuff's important in the work I did, the only project I kind of had was something related to DSC, the applications I had there.
Right.
So like, because what I learned in university was more abstract and laying the foundation kind of thing, but I hadn't actually got in university work. I hadn't come to the level of actually building a full project. And
Right.
okay, maybe I would have reached that until my final year, right? So having this DSC experience really helps people with, okay, I want to have some real world experience and real world impact right now, right? I have this really cool idea, I want to do something right now. Yeah, that's definitely
Awesome.
this what
Cool.
this looks for.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with what you guys said, because like most students, especially in campus, thanks to DSC, a lot of people are basically doing a lot of hands-on, and they get more knowledge basically before going to internship, because apparently internship was like the only period where people get to know how to use technical stuff and all, right? But thanks to DSC, I don't deny the fact that it did allow a lot of students to actually get hands-on with various platforms that are offered by Google and the technologies and frameworks too. So yeah, definitely do agree with that. But if I were to just ask you, Mose, you did mention basically about what's it called, all the Google technologies and stuff you have mentioned, right? So what do you think basically what do you advise what's called students to actually like grasp the fundamentals of like any Google framework technology? Like for example, like people basically want to do a web app, or they basically want to develop an application. What would you recommend to students they should start off with, basically understanding the fundamentals, especially for those who are not yet a developer?
Well, okay, yeah. So when you're trying to learn a new technology or coming new into programming, you need to always have a very strong foundation before you actually start producing projects. So what I could recommend is either go to YouTube or even Udacity and stuff like that. Try to get an online course. Also, Udemy is also a very good platform to learn. Yeah, it only costs you around $10. And the thing is, there's money back guarantee. So if you don't like it, you can always ask for a refund. So yeah, those kind of platforms are very, very important to help you grasp a solid foundation of an understanding of a new technology. Yeah, so for me, when Flutter first came out, people don't learn this in university and stuff, So I had to use Udemy's platform to actually learn. So I bought a few Flutter courses. Like I invested, like $50, and then at the end now I'm actually using it to make money because I'm freelancing right now using Flutter and Firebase. So
Nice.
so yeah, I guess that having a very strong foundation is very, very important before you start making projects. And to do that, you need to get a solid course, right? Either from YouTube or even from DSC,
Right.
And also Udemy, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, to add on, like there are also a lot of communities out there, like Facebook groups or like Discord channels that are out there for you to like discuss your problems, or like to just ask around, like, hey, how does this work? And then someone will explain it to you. And then like there's also like the infamous Stack Overflow. Like every question you have, it's already there.
Yeah.
Stack Overflow for the win. All right, cool. What about you, Rasheed?
Oh, so what I'd say is I keep tying this to DSC, right? But like one of the things that happened was, okay, we have all these questions and stuff, but one of the things that DSC helped with was that it gave me personally and a lot of other people I know for sure connections with people who have knowledge in all these different fields, right? So say Shangi was this GDE in Firebase, stuff like that, and then say our online solution design solution challenge hackathon, right? We had Darren Tan stuff done, right? Stuff like that, like getting people who are really good at certain fields and asking them for questions. That's actually not something special. It's actually something any of us can do, right? It's just that with DSC, we kind of had our eyes open, like, oh, you can just go and talk to these guys, right? Like, it's not a big deal at all. We have this really cool platform and we got to meet these people. But yeah, everyone should know that literally the only thing you need to do to learn this new stuff is just go ask one or two people, just Google a few times. You can get all of this stuff for free, and then yeah.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you guys said about, when it comes to actually learning about, any platform, like what Moses says about Flutter and the courses out there, especially, it's actually literally almost everything is just out there, it's just a matter of applying and studying. Right, cool. And if I may ask you, like all three of you, because I just want to know basically whether, like, what's your plan for now, since basically we are basically in MCO, and basically MCO is going to be over on 6th of June. So what's your plan actually for now?
Are you sure?
Yes, 6th of June. the CMC was actually extended to 6th of June, just to let you know.
Bro.
Now it's
How
been
many ever hit you with the
extended.
+8 card, bro?
Oh no, reverse card.
All right. If I may ask you, basically, if I were to ask you, like basically during this basically entire we're in lockdown and stuff, what are things basically you're going to carry forward to the next few weeks before our term ends? Like, what's the plan for the next few weeks? Let's start off with Kate.
Yeah, so basically during the entire MCO, I'm actually doing my internship. So like I've been working from home, and then after that, I'm also like spending a lot of time like doing like side projects, like spending a lot of time on Udemy as well. So by the way, if you guys know, Dino just came out 1.0, so like you try it out. It seems really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think going forward after MCO probably is like just trying to learn as much as I can to become a better developer.
Right. Okay. What about you, Mose?
Same goes. I mean, like, I've been freelancing for some time, and it's always for me, I work remote. So to me, everything seems normal to me. Yeah, so I'll just continue this lifestyle. I work remote, earn some good money, still studying. Yeah.
Right.
And also, I want to add about getting work experience at this time. I mean,
Right.
have you seen like the meme where junior developer, you need 3 years work experience and stuff like that? Yeah. I mean, that meme is actually really it's really true, because where your future employer will want someone that actually like engages in real projects, not just learning in university and stuff, because they don't want you to like try to apply book theory into their systems, and then something fails, something breaks. Yeah, and then you don't know how to deal with it, right? Because universities will teach you how to make things work, but not how to fix things when they are broken. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, to also add on to what Moses said, like the expectation of a software developer or a developer is actually getting like much higher. Like last time you see a lot of like front end developer like positions, right? Now they're all looking for like full stack developers, where you have like a long list of requirements. You have to learn basically every framework out there, every databases out there, every backend out there. So yeah, the competition is tough. So
yeah, true. Since you mentioned about the competition is very tough, right? What do you advise to people then? Like, for example, students who are not even a developer yet, but they are basically doing IT field.
Yeah, so like if you're in IT field and like you feel like how you want to be like to stand out, right? How you want to stand out in the competition. So like for example, joining DSC would be one of them. Like DSC being affiliated with Google developers would mean that you're you're somewhat like known in the development in the technology field, and then you also have a platform for you to learn, for you to get free courses.
Right. Okay, cool. Rasheed, what about you?
Rasheed?
So over the MCO, like my main focus has been like, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. So like one of the main things we did was, so we had these events lined up for the semester, and they all got kind of canceled for the MCO. So one of the things we did was we converted all our events to online events. So we had the Explore Machine Learning series online. We had like 70 to 80 participants on that. It was really cool. And now for the next 3 weeks or so, we're planning on having this series of talks on women tech makers, right? So we have some really cool speakers, and we're still getting it sorted out, but like we're hoping to have some really good, really useful talks, right? So for like currently we're in the middle of semester, everyone's like drowning in assignments and all that stuff, but hopefully that finishes soon. Yeah, we know exactly when it's going to finish, but hopefully that time comes faster so we can get on to chilling more.
Yeah, true. Agree with that. And if I were to basically, if I were to basically ask you, like, in terms of like what Kid have mentioned, Kid did mention basically, he has mentioned that right now basically when you're in the developing world, you have a lot of questions. I mean, a lot of requirements if you want to be a software developer and all that. So may I ask you basically, what's your advice, or what do you think about that?
To me or Rasheed?
Rasheed.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. So yes, okay. So any software, like there's this big question on should you specialize or should you generalize, right? And there's also the question of if you're going to specialize in something, you got to keep up. Okay, obviously you keep up with it, but then when that technology eventually disappears or transitions out, if you don't generalize to some extent, will you be left way behind, right?
Right.
And yeah, that's one of the questions like a lot of people ask, and there's no real definite answer. Like the field is kind of split, right?
Right.
So the best thing to do would be, to find out what you need to learn, right? Find out what you really like and try to learn as much as possible on that. But also just try to get to know like what's happening in the real world at all times, right? So say I'm a niche developer in this certain technology, I also want to know what's happening in these other technologies. So say I'm focusing on React, but Flutter's booming, right? I'm not going to ignore what Moses is doing with Flutter and all that stuff, because like say eventually React dies, I want to I want to be able to jump into Flutter, right? Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay, and lastly, I'd like to ask Moses on what his opinion, or should I say his, what will he advise people who are basically not even developers yet, but they see these kind of requirements, and you know how students are, right? They tend to panic and stuff. So what do you think of that, Moses? And since the fact that you've been doing a lot of freelancing and you kind of have like a lot of exposure in the real world industry, so what's your advice or trust your opinion on it?
Yeah, okay. Firstly, pick something that you really have interest in, start learning it. And then firstly, you start engaging in like free projects. You go and approach people, say, hey, what problem do you have? How can I solve it with the technology, right? So that's like the first level where you do projects for free, right? And then slowly you start to go into like paid jobs, right? And here's the thing, is very important, because when people start paying you for your time and for jobs, right? It shows you a validation. It shows you a validation that your skills and your time is actually worth money. It can be quantified, right? So to your future employees, right? So when they see you tell them, right? Hey, people are willing to pay me a few thousand to do this, right? Part-time. And you cannot offer me such a low thing, right? Because in the market, I'm valued at this level, right? So what you really need to do is to get people to actually pay you to that level where they can quantify your skills. Yeah.
Nice. All right. That's actually quite good. Yeah, that's actually quite good. All right, cool.
And I also want to add on, like being in the IT field, you don't necessarily have to be a developer.
Right.
Like I have some friends from like the multimedia scene, like they are aspiring to be like UI UX designers, because like they're good with those technologies and they also want to be in the technology field, like per se. Yeah. So like you don't necessarily have to just go down one road. There are many paths to go in, like in the IT field. Nice.
All right, cool. Yeah, I actually kind of agree with that. The fact that you just gotta basically focus on one thing rather than basically being like what Rasheed is being, master of all trades.
Ouch.
I'm sorry, Rasheed, but pretty much he's lagging so badly right now. I'm sorry about that. All right, so let's just ask whether they have any questions from the audience. Audience, do you actually have any questions you want to ask? Q&A session, like if you have any questions before I proceed, to the next topic.
Q&A.
Yeah, just waiting for the audience to comment or have any questions. Hopefully get to reply or say something.
Yeah, no questions for me.
Before, like since we're waiting for questions, let me just share a story about like my internship.
Go ahead, bro.
I know like most of us like as a developer or like we're always trying to learn like the greatest and the latest, right? Like we always want to learn the new things, the coolest things. But then sometimes when you go into an internship, you sometimes have to do with legacy codes, and then it's really not fun. So I guess you also have to be like adaptive, where you need to like take a step back and like to learn stuff that is back in like 2006.
Right.
And then
yeah.
Oh wait, we have a question.
Yeah, we do have a question by Alex Shai. Do you have a free Google?
Daffy, stand up. Show your shirt.
Yeah, this is actually one of it, Alex. This is actually one of it.
Wait, turn around.
What do you want me to turn around? Like, how do you expect me to forget about it, guys. But yeah, this is actually one of the t-shirts, Alex. At the back, written Google developers. And yes, you do get merchandise of, when you apply for DSC Lead, but try not to look forward to it, okay? Just focus on the fact that you're a DSC because you have responsibilities to be a lead in your community. That's your responsibility. All right,
We also have a question.
we actually have another question. Yes. Hi, is it hard to be a freelancer and how to be it instead to a developer? How to be it instead of a developer? Moses, we'll give it to you.
Well, I mean, like, okay, in general, like freelancing and stuff, it's actually hard because, like, you try to get like jobs and stuff, and it's not really stable.
Agreed.
So yeah, I would say it's really, really hard. But I mean, like for me now, since I'm studying and I'm also working, so I'm doing two things at once. I can only really freelance because I cannot take a full-time role. Yeah.
Right.
So is it hard? Yes, it's hard. I would recommend you to actually, if you're done with uni, I think you should definitely strive to get for a full-time job. Climb the ladder. Yeah.
Right. We have actually another question by Ravi, and he's actually asking you actually, how do you consider Ionic framework?
I think it was a temporary solution. I mean, Ionic, it's it's still web-based. It's still running JavaScript and stuff. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I love Ionic too. It's just that because I mean, this is actually a fast solution, but the thing is that it's web-based, and honestly, I kind of find it slow. It's not as good as how
puts out a web view over the screen, right?
Yeah. It is technically it is. Yeah.
it is actually.
Yeah.
And one thing about it is that it's not really optimized, to be honest, compared to other things. That's one
this
thing.
is why I prefer. I always promote about Flutter. Because Flutter actually compiles to actual code, not like like React Native. People say running through the JavaScript virtual machine and stuff. Yeah. Right. I mean, there's a gray area there. Some people say React is better. React Native is better. Some people say Flutter is better. But to be honest, right, just pick one, go with it, make money out of it. Yeah, that's the goal, right? You don't waste your time debating on which is better, right? But it's all about like which solves your problem, right, and helps you make money. Yeah.
All right. So we actually have another question. This question is: Will we be able to work at Google by being a DSC lead? You guys want to say anything on that before I say anything?
Okay,
Inshallah.
I think it will definitely increase your chances, right? I mean, like, because once you join DSC, it shows that it really shows that you're aligned with Google.
We know some guys who are definitely getting in.
Sorry. Yeah, Rasheed, you're like
we know some leads who are probably definitely getting in. Gosh, I'm just not going to talk.
All right, cool. I agree to what Moses said. Actually, it does increase the chances of actually you being working in Google, but doesn't basically guarantee that you can work in Google. It doesn't guarantee at all. It's just that the fact that when you're being part of this, you're getting closer to the Google community. Like there's so many Google communities actually in Malaysia and like in the world itself. And in a way, basically being part of this Google program communities, you're actually connected with other Google communities around the world. And that's the best part. When you ask them questions, or basically when you have problems about a particular platform and you have people who are very, very good into it, you can just ask them questions, and if they're free, trust me, they'll actually be more likely to help you out. That's the best part of being part of Google community. So again, will you be able to work at Google? The chances are high, but doesn't mean that it guarantees you basically working at Google. Right.
Yeah. And I guess like the level is like it's a level playing field. Like you still go through the same process, you still go through the same interviews, the same application. So yeah,
agree with that. All right, so we go to the next question by Shahidan. He mentioned basically what's the first freelance developer project he did, and was it for a company or corporation client? All right, I think Moses, you probably want to answer that.
Oh, yeah. My first one was definitely a startup, right? That time I didn't really have much credibility, so at that time I joined a startup. Yeah, I started working for free, and then now I'm a shareholder of the startup, and also I get paid. Because you start earning money and you start getting paid. So yeah, I think like when you're first starting off, you cannot really expect to get paid. Yeah, but going in with that mindset, I think like you can definitely overcome the barriers and stuff, because you need to always get the experience before you can charge people money, right? So yeah, getting that first experience is always hard. I think you should focus on getting that first, then only focus on the money.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Right, this is the next question by Dylan. Okay, cool. So he's basically saying that, he's currently trying to choose between data science or AI to study. Can I know the difference between them and what programming language should I learn more for either these two fields? So Moses, you want to basically comment on that?
I'm not very versed into data science and AI, man. Any of y'all?
I could help with that, but I might lag out.
Kate, let's just leave it to Kate, because I'm not really well versed between both of them. So Kate.
Yeah, I would say like I'm not very experienced, but from what I know, like data science and AI, they're not very far apart. Like you still have a lot of like mathematics, still have a lot of equations that you need to figure out. And like, I guess if you want to like what programming language you should learn for either of these two fields, I guess you should look at maybe Python. I guess Python is one of the most popular languages for data science and also AI. So yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Although yes, I'm sorry, Dylan. Although I'm not really well versed into this particular field, but I really respect the fact of you asking this question because from my basic experience, it's either Python or language R, because those are basically those two languages that people will usually use for data science or AI. And like what's called Kit have said, they're not exactly far apart because at the end of the day, they're basically kind of similar in a way, in terms of mathematics and the stuff that you actually add on. All right, so the next question. I hope I answer your question, Dylan, not to disappoint you. All right, so the next question, Raveen, AWS or GCP?
GCP.
GCP all the way. GCP all the way. Yeah, I don't
answer this, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like GCP also because I'm very familiar with it. So.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I think you should go with what you're familiar with and stuff. But I know big companies actually use AWS. Yeah,
actually, like my internship also uses AWS as well, and like I guess that's just really up to your preferences or like what are your needs for your project.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think AWS is just a platform, right? I mean, like you should focus on knowing what to build and what you should build. Yeah, I think that's just a platform to host your idea. Yeah, I think you should really focus more on your project. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, I think basically we can end around here. Like the questions are amazing. So I think the Q&A session closes from here. Thank you guys for everyone for asking these questions. I mean, it's amazing questions that you asked. I'm sorry for those, basically the answers to the questions were not what you expected, but really hope, eventually we manage to actually answer your questions. Right, so just who's pressing this right now? Are we going to answer this question? I thought we already closed the question, guys.
All right, I guess this is the last one. Yeah.
Fine, last one. Okay, cool. Can we do non-related TEC-related events, non-Google tech-related events, despite being a DSC?
Yes.
Yes, you could.
Yeah, usually like Google inspires us to share open source stuff. Like GitHub is free and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. For example, GitHub is actually one of it. I mean, you definitely need source control when it basically comes to projects or programming, right? Don't tell me you didn't copy and paste. I mean, you definitely want to basically share this kind of knowledge to your community, because one of the things about, like students, especially when they're part of the DSC membership, or this community, is that the fact that when they are trying to basically do projects and stuff, they're not even aware of such thing called GitHub and everything. So basically showcasing such open source stuff will allow them to understand there are actually much more technologies, which actually Google does allows, like they're very open to open source stuff. For example, even React is open source. So you can also teach that, shouldn't be a problem at all if it's not related to DSC. But the thing about DSC is the main thing is actually sharing Google related technologies, but open source stuff are definitely more than welcome. So that's about it. You are definitely welcome, Raveen. No problem. Raveen basically thanking you us all. So, and definitely, guys, for those who are basically, the audience, exactly whoever's watching right now, the link is actually below for those who basically wants to apply or being a DSC lead. And do know that it's been extended. However, DSC organizers will definitely let you know about this soon. But what I can say for now is that it's extended. So while basically be extended, for those who are watching, or for those who basically does not have any DSC chapter in the campus, do apply for it. The more DSC communities we have, the better when it comes to networks and connections, and the best events and projects can happen around the entire chapters. Do apply, and trust me, you will definitely not regret being part of the DSC lead. As you can see from Alex, Moses, and Rasheed, from their experiences, you don't have to be intimidated. You don't have to basically feel shy because you're not a technical person, like super hardcore technical person. All you have to basically do is basically be enthusiastic. You have the enthusiasm when it comes to tech stuff, and try to understand why do you need to apply this kind of stuff. And of course, when you're building up your team, your core team must at least include one technical person. At least a technical person can guide you throughout your entire projects and events that you showcase in your campus. So that's my take. That's my 2 cents actually for applying for a DSC lead. Don't be afraid. Just apply for it. Whether your video is cringy or not, just apply for it, because all the other people, probably the speakers right now, probably like cringing like no tomorrow for like for their videos. So just apply, and you never know what's gonna happen. Whether you be part of it, whether you can, you never know. Just join in. All right. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Kit. Thank you, Moses, and thank you, Rasheed, for joining the session. Although basically we wish that we actually had more time, but I guess basically this is over. So let's just basically end it off with basically the application of DSC, shall we? All right, guys. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
See you guys.
Bye.
Developer Student Clubs train thousands of student developers globally and work with their communities to solve real-life problems. Google selects amazing students from across the globe once a year to be a Developer Student Club lead and start a club on their campus. These leads believe knowledge is power and that technology can do extraordinary things for the world. They take on the responsibility to help students learn and empower these students to solve real problems around them. Join us in building a global community for students.